It's a big effort to save women's lives. Heart disease, the #1 killer of women. Well, this Friday, it's National Wear Red Friday. It's an easy thing to do, a fun way to bring attention to what is a serious disease. UCLA Dr. Janki Shah is one of the organizers. She's also with the American Heart Association here in LA. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you so much for having me here and for spotlighting the importance of heart disease in women.
And we know this month is all about recognizing this. And when we talk about a month for a serious illness, it's just to get people talking, right? To be aware.
To be aware and to take action. The Go Red movement is really to share the awareness with everyone that heart disease is the #1 killer of women. It claims 1 woman every 80 seconds in the United States. It kills more women than all cancers combined. In addition to raising awareness, we really want to empower women to take charge of their own heart health.
It's so shocking to me when you say that it claims more women die of this than all the other cancers combined, because it's something that it doesn't get talked about a lot, right? We wear red one day, and then it seems like heart disease is something that people associate with men, but that
people
is
think of
not
it as
the
an
case.
old man's disease.
Right.
In reality, women are getting and dying of heart disease at younger ages. The sad truth is heart disease in women is under-recognized and undertreated. The symptoms can be easy to miss.
But they're different from what men experience,
They
right?
are.
It's not we think of chest pain, right?
We think of the Hollywood image of a man clutching his chest and collapsing to the floor. But women can have much less dramatic symptoms, such as just jaw pain or belly pain, feeling short of breath or nauseous, or simply just feeling extreme fatigue. So the take-home point really is that if women feel that something's not quite right, they need to seek attention.
And there are some glaring risk factors. We know about smoking, but some other ones as well, right?
Absolutely. There are a host of modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. We can't change our age, our gender, we can't trade in our genes, but the half glass full is there's a lot of things we can change. You can change how active you are. You can change your diet. And the 5 numbers the American Heart Association really wants women to know, these are critical numbers that could save your life, are your total and bad cholesterol, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and your body mass index, which is a measure of your fat. And keeping these numbers in check with the help of your doctor can save lives.
I think there's also an image that if people are thin, if they look good, they are good. But there are all sorts of things going on with the heart that you might not necessarily know.
Absolutely. Staying thin and staying fit is part of the puzzle. It's absolutely important. But there's a lot of other risk factors, as I mentioned, that can counterbalance that.
And what should you talk to your doctor about? How do you know when it's serious enough that it's something you should bring up with your doctor?
Every year, women should have a heart checkup. 90% of women actually have at least one risk factor for heart disease. And startlingly, 50% of women who come to the emergency room with their first heart attack never had a warning symptom. So prevention is really important.
And when you talk about a heart checkup, is that getting hooked up to an EKG machine, or is it just a stethoscope?
A stethoscope, an EKG machine, talking to your doctor about all of these major risk factors.
All right, and Simple 7 guide, what is that? I know you wanted to talk about that.
Absolutely. So the American Heart Association has a very simple and practical guide to modifying taking charge of your heart health. What it is, it's called the Life Simple 7. We recommend that everyone eat better, eating whole foods like fruits, grains, vegetables, and avoiding processed sugars and processed foods. Everyone should maintain a healthy weight. 2/3 of American adults and 1/3 of American children are overweight or obese. So we really need to keep that number in check. The healthy diet, but also staying active will help reach that goal. The American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes a week of regular exercise. And then the other 4, smoking, we need to stop. It's the most preventable cause of heart disease in women, especially young women. And keeping that blood pressure under 120/80. It's a silent killer. There's no symptoms, but it's wreaking havoc on the inside. And keeping the cholesterol in check and keeping the sugars out of the diabetic range really goes a long way to prevent heart disease.
All right. It really could save your life.
It could save your life.
Thank you. All right. For more information about women's heart health, just go to our website, kcal9.com. Click C9 TV. Don't forget, wear red on Friday and keep talking about it.